Hello folks, welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to try and disassemble and assemble my 1892 Alaskan Chiappa. So let's get right to it. Alright folks, let's get started. It's first time, well, I've done it once before, but never documented how I did because I was still learning how to do it. So today I'm going to show you how I took apart my 1892 Alaskan. So first thing to do, make sure it's empty. Chamber is empty. First thing we'll do is we'll go ahead. This is a takedown model, so we'll go ahead and take down the barrel. Makes it much easier, lighter to maneuver things around. So let me take that off. All right, now that I have the barrel off, first thing I do is I go ahead and remove the tang screw here to remove the stock, which I already loosened up, and pull off. Next thing I do is I go ahead and take the tension off the mainspring. So this one actually has a screw and nut thing going on. So up here. Okay, then go ahead and remove the mainspring. Next time, I believe what I did was this breech block pinhole plug screw. I go ahead and remove that. Now on the Chiappa 1892 Alaskan, the ones I've seen when I was doing the research on how to do this, I guess the Winchester version have pins. The Chiappa one actually has a actual bolt. It's a bolt pin is what they call it. So you have to get a really small flat head to fit in there over that pin screw. So just do that. Then you can just turn it over and I think, let's see, let me get a punch real quick. All right, so I have a small punch coming from the right side, pushing to the left side of the receiver, and there's that pin screw that I was talking about. You have to kind of finagle the bolt a little bit to take the tension off so you can push it through. There you go. There you go. So it looks like a, oops, sorry. It looks like a pin, but it's threaded right here. So just be mindful and don't start punching on the opposite side. Next I did was I went ahead and removed the hammer screw. So let's do that right now. Trying to keep my hand out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. Once I do that, then this piece, I forgot what it's called, but it should slide out. And there you go. That whole piece slides out, and the hammer comes right out. At that point, this whole lever slides right out. And then this bolt assembly comes right out. Now, every video I've seen on this, they show that this extractor here can slide out, and it's under spring tension with this little cup. So just be mindful and don't lose it. But yeah, that's basically the whole disassembly of my 1892 Alaskan. All right, folks, you can see we previously had this all disassembled, and so what I've done here is I've kind of put it in a sub-assembly of how it should go. I have the little breech lock pin screw here with the breech bolt and the, I believe these are called locking bolts. Here's the tang, main spring on the stirrups here, just making sure the trigger's pulled back so it engages the trigger. And then the trigger screw is in its place. So that way I kind of understand how things go back together. So let's start doing the assembly. Now, I will say that this piece here, this whole assembly here, let me get it back there. This whole assembly here, this has to go in between, slide in between this piece of the lever, and that seems to be the tricky part. And also making sure that the firing pin and this extractor is actually pushed back against the bolt face. That way this pin, this breech lock pin, can fit in. And you'll see me struggle putting this together, so let's get right to it. So I'll go ahead and take this whole sub-assembly apart and just kind of have it ready to go. So make sure the extractor is pushed all the way in. I'll take the receiver, and there's a groove that this bolt engages. Slide it in, and you get to about this part, and that's where this piece right here starts engaging that groove. So what I'll do is I'll take this assembly, let's see if I can show it to you guys, and fit it underneath here, underneath the receiver, straight up. And I'll kind of put my finger from the front and push that little extractor piece, make sure it doesn't slide out. And I laid it down and let the weight of the receiver push down on there until it kind of somehow slides into place. So now what I'll do is I'll look through this pinhole where the breech lock pin screw goes, and I'll stick a punch, a small enough punch to kind of get everything lined up and just make sure I don't miss any threads up. And also I got to make sure the hammer or I mean firing pin is pushed forward. So that should line up everything. So I'll just drop that breech lock pin screw, and I'll kind of work it by hand, and I'll actually go backwards counterclockwise before I screw it in, so I don't accidentally cross thread it. So right now it's not wanting to engage. So I finally got the screw pin to engage in here. Then you want to just go ahead and tighten it. Now I don't know the torque specs. I looked on Taylor and Company's website, Chiappa's website. I couldn't find torque values on these things, so I just do it just snug. And then what I go ahead and do is I go ahead and put the breech plug screw back on, that way I don't forget it. So again, I'll start by hand, then I'll switch to using a handle. Next, you'll see the sub-assembly for the hammer, and I forgot what this thing is called, but sorry. Anyways, just kind of put it in my mind how this assembly goes together. So I'll go ahead, take it apart, pull the hammer out. So first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and slide the hammer in from the bottom, like so. Then again, maybe I should show you so you understand. This, I think I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a tang. This fits like so. So you do. So when you put the hammer in, you gotta kind of lift it up a little bit to get this down the center, and still engage these I guess posts in these grooves in the back of the receiver. So little maneuvering, and also got at the same time maintain back pressure on the trigger and keep the stirrup out. So go ahead, slide it on. Then what I do is I go ahead, slide it through the back of the receiver, make sure that stirrup is above it. Now, when I originally took this off, these little slider things were so tight. I really had to pound them out of there. So I did take a honing stone to get it down, whittle it down to size, so it fits a little better. So now I just slide it in, holding back pressure on the trigger until it is actually, the hole here matches up with the hammer and this and the tang. So once I get that all lined up, I go ahead and take the hammer screw, and I'm still holding the hammer back a little bit. It's maybe not as lined up as I like. No, it's pretty good. Let's see if this will. There we go. All right. Screw that in. Okay, now that that's done, next for me is the mainspring. Now this one is a little tricky. Took me a little bit to figure it out, but make sure you capture, there's a little hook on here, and capture the stirrup. Once you do that, then you kind of line it up on the back of this tank. Now, there's a bit of a lot of tension when you do that. So what I found that worked for me was taking a set of vice grip and wrap a bunch of duct tape on the end so you don't mar up your rifle. And then what I did was I went ahead and clamped it down. I just want to make sure I'm still on the stirrup and that the hole is kind of in the area where the screw is. So I went ahead and put the screw in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the vice grip on there. And I'll just get a few threads on. And get a little bit more on there. Sorry. So that's kind of what it looks like. So I use the vice grip to pinch that main spring down against the tank, and then I screw it down. Then now I have a few threads already started. I'll go ahead, use my pliers to kind of hold the nut. Normally I would use like a little wrench, but I don't have one, so and again, just snug. So pretty much that's all ready to go. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead, put on the stock, and then we'll do a function check. So stock back on, just slide right on. Then the screw. There you go. Next thing we can do a function check. So. All right, folks, looks like we got it all done. Thanks for watching.